request host. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our One World Energy Encounter with the Zohar. This week's portion is Ki Tisa. We are at verse 59. The name of the article is the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf. And as we do each week when we get together, we want to have a consciousness of connecting to the upper realm, the flawless universe, the Garden of Eden, and channeling the energy of fulfillment from that upper realm. And our tool for doing this is actually connecting to the Zohar, which is a metaphysical connection to the upper realm. So from wherever we are in the world, we are sending energy to all the places in the world that need energy of healing, ending the war in Israel, the safe return of all the hostages, protection for all the innocents that are in harm's way, energy of healing for those we know who need healing, and energy of assistance in elevation and sending energy of elevation and comfort to those souls that are transitioning that we know. Also the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone in the world with human decency. Also energy of protection from negativity, energy of protection from evil eye and evil speech. Okay, verse 59. Would someone like to volunteer to read English for us? Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Hang on, I'm going to change my view on my screen. Okay, all right. So, verse 59. And again, we are making a metaphysical, spiritual connection through these letters to the upper realm. And then with our deepening of our understanding of what this particular section is about, we're opening up additional channels of energy from the upper realm. 59. Tachazeh kativ v'yara'am ki boshesh Moshe. Mana'am inun erev rav. Man erev rav. V'chi ludim v'chushim v'chaptorim v'turgamim havo. Dekaran lon erev rav. V'lo mitzrim havo. U'mimitzrayim natlu. V'ilu havo irbuvia de'amin sagi'in. Hachi hava le lemichtav. Erev rav alu itam lefi irbuvia dilhon. As I'm reading this, there's some very interesting words, Aramaic words. And like when you connect to the word, you may not even understand the word. But if you are feeling an energy around that word, don't dismiss it. There's significance. You might not understand what you're feeling, but there is significance to the word itself if you're feeling something. And then once you do see what the translation is, just be open to the possibility that there is something there that is meant for you to understand beyond just the literal. And that's what we're doing every time we study the Zohar. But it can happen with individual word, it can happen with an individual paragraph. And especially when we're connecting to the Zohar of the particular week, because the energy of this week is aligned with the energy of the Zohar that we're studying. And that's why we studied the particular Zohar that corresponds to this week. So with that little intro, Maria, let's go slow. There's a lot to pick up here. Sometimes I feel like when we're reading Zohar, it's like that old Pac-Man game, you know, and so all of a sudden you come upon like 400 points. Go ahead.
Come and behold, it is written, and when the people saw that Moses delayed.
Okay, so what's the context? Moses is up on the mountain. It's the revelation event. What was revealed? Well, shouldn't be a closely guarded secret. It should be well known, but it isn't as well known as it is to us. Immortality was revealed. We had regained our connection to the Garden of Eden at Mount Sinai when Moses went up there. This was supposed to be a return to the Garden of Eden consciousness, energy. That's what we had achieved. And so the first thing we have to know we're connecting to is, yes, Moses was delayed, and we'll talk about that. But he was up there channeling all this energy for the world. That was it. That was the whole point. We're taking you out of Egypt. The children of Israel, this whole nation, we're going to be there to channel all this energy of healing, all this energy of immortality, all this energy of peace for the world. That we had achieved that. And by the way, we're right now on our march towards the holiday of Passover, where we are freed from that very limited view of the world. And then 50 days later, it's the holiday of Shavuot. We're back on the mountain. And so right now, through this, we are connecting to this journey of being of freedom from slavery. What does that mean? It's freedom from the bond, the binding aspects, the limiting aspects of physicality. And beyond that, it's freedom to connect to immortality. And that's what we're connecting to. And that's part of the power of what is available to this week and tomorrow, Saturday morning's reading, is this connection to freedom and to immortality. There's a catch, though. Something went wrong. There was something wrong with the software. The children of Israel panicked in the 11th hour. They saw that Moses was delayed, and they got worried that they lost their intermediary, their connection with the Creator. They freaked, they panicked, they got reactive. As opposed to like just pausing, they freaked. And what happened? We're going to see. Now, it's interesting, and the Zohar will get to this. I'm not sure we'll get that far, but I do want to point out the word for delayed, if you look at it in the text, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's the 6th word, boshesh. Anyone know what shesh is?
Yeah, I was saying the number 6, right?
It's 6.
Yeah.
What's that have to do with anything? I'll tell you what it has to do with anything. This is Moses. He's Zeron Pin. It's the 6th sfirot of the tree of life, directly above our realm of Malchut. He's channeling all this. What's he channeling? He's channeling immortality from the upper realm through Zeron Pin. That's what we had. That's what he's doing. You can read it as Bishosh, as it reads literally, Boshesh, delayed, or you can read it as Bishesh, in the 6th, in Zeron Pin. He is Zeron Pin. He remains Zeron Pin. He's Zeron Pin today.
David, at least for the people listening, the bet, when it's before the word, it means in. And that's why you're saying in 6.
Yes. Good point. So so the additional benefit for us is we also are being bathed in this energy of Zeron Pin. This is where we want to be. It's always where we want to be. And it's Friday afternoon here, Central Time in North America. So wherever you are seeing this, like Shabbat, the energy of Shabbat is already infusing our realm. And as was explained by one of our teachers, Sefi Yeshurun, we lose immortality here. And so we lose this tremendous light from the upper realm. But we still have access to it on Shabbat and the holidays. So we're connecting to that light right now. In certain places was the Holy Temple we don't have now, but we connect to that light in all of our gatherings for connections. We're again connecting to that light. And we also have that light embedded in the Zohar. Infused, the letters are infused with the Or HaGanuz, the hidden light. So even though we lost it, we are still connecting to it. We're connecting to it right now. Okay.
Hey, David, does
Yes.
it matter? In my head, I keep running through the head on, obviously, the reason we fell was because Moses was delayed coming down and we didn't believe and we built the golden calf. But does it matter why he was delayed? Meaning what he went through that caused the delay?
He wasn't, I'm not sure he was delayed.
Okay.
I think they perceived it that way. You know, imagine you're at a rock concert, Lahavdil. You're at a rock concert and like, it's called for 8:00 and it's like 7:50 and it's like your favorite band. It's like the anxiety, think about it, it's like you're so anxious for the band to come out on the stage and start performing. It's like I mean, there are times where we just get super anxious. It's not happening for us quick enough. quickly enough, actually, be grammatically correct. So to them, they perceived the delay. It's not so clear, and it gets translated. It's not so clear it was delay, but to the degree there was a delay, even in our lives, like, we have processes we're going through, and it's like, I want it to end already. No, that our teachers say that's not the way to achieve fulfillment, is to get impatient. As a matter of fact, it's better that you push it off. You know what? I want it, but I'm fine. Oh, I really want it. I need to have that desire. I need to have that Ratzon LaKabel. This is what Kabbalah is all about. It's receiving. It's how we receive. Oh, I want to receive it, all right, but I'm pushing it off. That's restriction. And I'm not unhappy about pushing it off. I'm pushing it off. Well, how do you do that? It's like, it's an internal, like, conflict. I want it, but I'm pushing it off. Yeah, that's right. That's what we do. That is how we embrace process. And I'm not going to be upset about pushing it off, even though I want it. I mean, won't I be though? Am I going to be a little upset? I mean, that's the thing. We have to connect to our inner joy and happiness and contentment. So I want it. I'm not diminishing my desire at all. I know it's there. I know that it's there. I know the fulfillment there. I know the soulmate is there. I know the healing is there. I know the business opportunity is there. I know it's there. I don't feel it. What do I feel? I feel lack. And we perceive lack as not having something. When we don't have it. No, I know. But it's there. The lack that you're feeling, that you perceive you don't have it, is part of the illusion. Lack is energy. I'm feeling lack. You're feeling energy. Well, why did the universe send me energy of lack? Because you're an 8-ounce cup and the blessing is 12 ounces. And we need to experience the lack to grow our vessel. How do I grow our vessel? By restricting. Oh, you mean I shouldn't have desire? No, grow in your desire. Grow in your desire. Absolutely ask for it all the time. But understand that it's going to happen when it happens, and I'm fine living in lack. Really? Yes. Really? I didn't say it's easy. It's not. It's painful. Okay. So that's the other reality. Yeah, sometimes things are delayed, but what's time except an illusion of physicality anyhow? So they perceive that there was a lack of fulfillment. Where is Moses already? Where is he? I mean, he's there. Do you not see the lightning and thunder taking place on the mountain? Well, maybe he's not, maybe he died. Who could survive that? He has had food for 40 days. So I imagine, listen, the other thing is that we were all there. That's the other thing. That's what our teachers tell us. We were all there. All 600,000 children of Israel were there. So, like, we only have ourselves to blame at a certain level. But we're going to see there's a lot more to the story. Okay, Maria.
Who are the people?
Yes,
Yeah.
the verse says, and when the people saw what do you mean the people? Literally, ha'am. Which nation? Which people? The children of Israel? It would have said the children of Israel. It doesn't. It says the nation. Curious selection of words. Not by accident. Go ahead.
He answers, they are the mixed multitude. And who was the mixed multitude? Were they Ludim and Cushim and the Kuf and the what?
Kaftorim,
And the Kafturim and the
Togarmin.
Togarmin, who are called mixed multitude. Now,
It was the mixed multitude. Wait a second. Do you mean the Ludim, Cushim, etc.? Are they the ones that are called the mixed multitude? That's what the Zohar is saying.
Who are these people?
Yeah, who are these people? So we're going down a rabbit hole here. I'm just telling you right now. It was not the children of Israel. Keep going.
Wait,
Who
wait,
else?
wait. It was not the children of Israel.
That verse refers to when the people saw that Moses delayed,
Okay, but wait a minute.
not the children of Israel.
Okay, but all right, so let's keep reading because the story,
I think it's coming next.
the children of Israel participated in the building of the
They're
Golden
there. Yes, of course they are.
No, but the point is that this is alluding to, and we'll see, right, that when we reference the mixed multitude, in Kabbalah terms, we're actually saying those that don't follow the practice, right? It's not a us and them, it's Israelites is a reference to those, regardless of where they come from, that are following in the path. That's what I understand from our teachers.
But we'll say that in other words.
It doesn't matter your background, your religion, your makeup. If you are following the rules, you are an Israelite. If you are not following the rules, then you're actually from the mixed multitude.
So definitionally, who are the children of Israel today? It was clear who they were walking through the desert. Today, it's a lot less clear. And what our teacher says, those who are following on the path represent the children of Israel today. Those who are studying right now, studying the Zohar, and manifesting this for the world are the children of Israel. So, because there are people who are along on the trip who were not the children of Israel. And that's the distinction we're making. They're referred to as the Erev Rav. Anyone ever hear the Erev Rav before? I mean, it's a well-known concept. So where we're getting to is who were the Erev Rav. That's really what we're getting to here. Go ahead. You'll see. Maria?
There were Egyptians and traveled from Egypt.
Oh, that's who the Erev Rav were. There wasn't those individual nationalities we just listed. That was not, this is saying that was not the Erev Rav. The Erev Rav were Egyptians. Go ahead.
And if they were a mixture of many nations, it should have stated so.
Yeah, it would have said that. It didn't say that. It said the Am. It's a unified term, the nation, not a mixture of nations.
And a mixed multitude went up, and also with them, Ludin, Kushin, etc., according to their mixture.
Because in a different verse in Shemot, it says mixed multitude, but here it didn't say that. Peter, you're up. You're muted if you're trying to say something.
I gotta go. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Okay.
Wait.
So let's continue. Okay, so really, so far we've just asked more questions than we answered. Let's move on to verse 59. Tachazeh, 60. Ela erev rav ala itam, ama chad haba v'lishan chad, aval chol charashe mitzrayim, v'chol chartumei dilahon habo, dichtiv behu, v'yasu gam hem chartumei mitzrayim, deva'u lemekam, lakavel pli'an dekucha brichu, Kevan dechamu nisim uflian de avad Moshe b'Mitzrayim. Ahadru legabe Moshe. Amarle kuchabrichu leMoshe. Lan tikabel lon. Amar Moshe mare de alma. Kevan dechamu gvurta dilach. Ba'an litgarya. Yechamun gvurtach b'chol yama v'yin deun deleit elaha bar minach. V'kibur lon Moshe. Maria?
He answers. But the verse says, and a mixed multitude went up also with them. Yet does not mention the names of the nations, because they were all of one nation and one language.
Okay, so look, it says we're translating Erev Rav as mixed multitude. But the Zohar is saying that no. It was one nation with one language. Exactly what's going on. Keep going.
But all of the magicians and sorcerers of Egypt were there, as it is written. And the magicians of Egypt, there also did in like manner, because they wanted to stand up against the wonders of the Holy One, blessed be He, and show that they also could do as He does.
So what the Zohar is telling us is the Erev Rav was one nation with one language, and who was it? It was the magicians and sorcerers of Egypt. It was those who were practicing dark magic, black magic. That's
Hey,
who it was. The dark arts. Yes, Ron.
David, I think we need to
When you dropped the recording stopped,
I think the recording is still on.
but you're
But I
not.
can't
But
share my
you're not.
screen.
I'm going to make you host again.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay, so who were the Erev Rav? The Zohar is telling us it was actually the magicians and sorcerers of Egypt. How'd they end up there? How'd they end up there? And what were they doing? If you think back when Aaron Moses turns their staff into a snake, so Pharaoh's sorcerers, they did the same thing. They turned their staff. They were showing Pharaoh and Moses that they could do these little tricks that the Creator was pulling. At a certain point, they could no longer do them anymore, though. That's what happened. When it came time for the 10 plagues, some of them they were a duplicate, and then they were out of their league. Go ahead.
But when they saw the miracles and wonders that Moses performed in Egypt, they returned to Moses. The Holy One, blessed be He, said to Moses, do not accept them.
So what does it mean they returned to Moses? So this is like tshuva. They did tshuva. They returned. They all of a sudden realized it wasn't about their magic. There's a Creator up there. It's not them. So they returned to align themselves with Moses and the Creator. That's what it's saying. And what does the Creator say? Moses, do not bring them along for the ride. I'm telling you, do not bring them. So what does Moses do? Go ahead.
Moses said, Master of the universe, since they saw your mighty deeds, they want to convert. Let them see your mighty deeds every day, and then they will know that there is no Elohim except you. And Moses accepted them.
Okay, so Moses tells the Creator, look, I hear what you're saying, but I think these people, they're here. What?
They deserve a chance.
They deserve a chance. So like, Ron, you may want to bring if you can, bring the text back up. What this creates for us is like, and we deal with this all the time, and I'm sure we have friends and others that ask, I don't know which way to go. Do I take them along for the ride or don't I? And so, it's not so clear what we should do. And Moses, what is he doing? He's sharing. He's trying to be inclusive. Should he not have? Well, the Creator told him not to. But like, this was the relationship that Moses had with the Creator. They had died. They didn't always agree. Plenty of times. So in our own...
David, I'm having trouble with the recording, I think. Let me try this. Should we just keep going?
Yes,
I can't
go.
my screen. Okay.
So what the opportunity this presents for us in our own lives is to understand that we live in this world, it's not so clear. We are going to get messages. We want to be attuned to what is right. And it doesn't always work out. And that doesn't mean it was the wrong thing to do. It may have consequences. We may be unhappy with the consequences. But making decisions with consequences is why we're here. We're here to learn the lessons. So not everything we do works out, and that's okay also. We need to be okay with that. And this was an extreme example because we literally lost immortality for the time being. Is it there? Yeah, it's there. It's in potential. It's in the upper realm. It's at the level of Binah, the eighth Sphira, counting from the bottom up on the tree of life. It is there. It's within our reach. It's just not here. Yes, Maria.
Question. I see two things here. I see two lessons here. I see a lesson from Moses and the Creator. The Creator telling Moses, don't do this, don't accept them. And Moses not obeying the Creator and still doing it his way and forgiving them and accepting them. And then on the other side is all these people doing all this, Egyptian doing all this thing, and Moses allowing them and giving them the opportunity. So what is the lesson that I'm receiving, that I'm seeing from Moses and the Creator here? Because I see a conflict here.
It is a conflict. It is a conflict. We may not be able to reconcile that. It played, this is the way it played out. But for us, it is also giving us something to deepen our understanding of how things play out in our life.
Because you see that, right? It's like if God comes to me and talk to me and say,
Hey, if I get a message from you, don't think I'm gonna listen.
My way. I'm like, I just did that to
Right?
God, right?
Listen, we're not at the level of Moses, but I'm just saying that
Right.
it's a fascinating turn of events. But also we have to understand that when we make a decision, listen, where our consciousness is what matters. It doesn't always work out the way we want it to, because it's not supposed to. Not supposed to work out that way. Okay. 61. Amai kralon erev elakol charashim de Mitzrayim havo v'rei shehon nilnos v'yim berus v'sha'ata diyoma havo avde tadir charashayu v'chol ilein charashin elin havo mistakle miki nate shimsha m'sheruta de shaot umechza ad sheruta de tesha umechza dehainu erev rav rava kol inun charashim zeirim mesharuta de tesha umechza al palgut lelia. So I'm just saying, I've always been operating under the assumption that Erev Rav was the mixed multitude of nations. There's always going to give us a deeper understanding of who they were right now. And it's very interesting. Go ahead.
He asks, why did he call them a mixed multitude? He answers, because all the magicians of Egypt were present, and at their head were Jonas and Yambrus.
Okay, so Jonas and Yambrus were the head magicians.
They practiced magic from the 6th hour after sunrise. The greater magicians would start to perform their magic at their 6.5 hours after sunrise. When the sun started to set until the beginning of 9.5 hours, mainly the full setting of the sun, when it is time for the early mincha.
Okay, so the sun rises at 6, let's say.
Mhm.
At 12, it starts to set.
Mhm.
Is it setting? Yeah, it's a cycle, like the moon, but this is a daily cycle. The sun is rising and then it's starting to set. Roughly at a 12-hour of daylight, it's 6 and 6. So if the sun rises at 6, they're starting their dark arts at noon. And they go for 6.5 hours till 6:30, when it's time for mincha. That's what they do. That's who they were. That's the more elevated practitioners, sorcerers. That's what they do. Keep going.
But all the minor magicians would practice magic for 9.5 hours until midnight.
Okay, so they'd go from 9:30 to midnight,
Doing that.
essentially. So there were two groups, the major sorcerers and the minor ones, and they practiced at different times. 62. And listen, for us, like what we need to know, the practice of, listen, There's negativity out there. We are getting protection right now from that negativity. And the negative entities have all different kinds of practices and all different kinds of things that are going on for them to be energy sappers. They're taking energy. They're takers. It's not good, it's not bad. It's negative. Negative are takers. You need to protect your energy. And so this is what we're getting from this whole thing. We need to protect our energy. Why do I don't want to be around negative people? Because they sap your energy. And that leaves the window open for chaos. And so when we see that there are negative entities around us or negative people around us, we need to draw boundaries. And that's what this is about. You know, let's not look at the world through rose-colored glasses. It's not all like, you know, fairy tales and unicorns. I don't know what the expression is, but life isn't like that. There's serious challenges out there. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to draw boundaries. We need to avoid negative situations. Moses is Moses. He invited them in. So part of what we're getting here is this, through that experience, perhaps the reason why he invited them in is so we have the lesson of why it's important to set up boundaries. And the insights to see that. And the strength to make the tough decisions about where I'm going to be and where I'm not going to be. Okay. Let's continue. 62. Inon ilain divahu havo mistakle mikol nate shimsha. Daha kaden sharan tisha mea v'tish'in v'chamesh dargin. Lim shatata al ture chashuch. V'rucha dilahon hava mishatata al kol inun charashin bechar shaihu. V'ilein havo abde kolmad inun ba'an. Al bechol mitzra'e rachtzanu dilahon b'ilein hava. The Quran lo erevra. Begin the 8th erev ze'era mitsha shaot umechatza ulotata da erev ze'era utrei arvei yunun ve'alda vegam erev rav Allah itam.
The greater ones among them practiced from the time the sun started to set, because then 995 grades start to float over the mountains of darkness, and their spirit hovered over all their magicians and their magic.
Okay, so there are times, listen, this is why, like in the afternoon, there's a tremendous amount of judgment that's out there. We can see there's a lot of negativity. This is one reason why we say the afternoon service when we do. This is to counter the energy of judgment. So like, it's like in the afternoon, we want to be a bit more careful about the steps we take. Go ahead.
They were able to do whatever they desired, so much so that all the Egyptians placed their trust in them. They were called a mixed multitude or a great evening.
Okay, so there's two ways of looking at the definition of Erev Rav, mixed multitude. Erev can mean mixed, or Erev can mean evening. Rav means many. So so literally it can mean mixed multitude, or it can mean great evening. So this is the group when the sun sets who work their dark arts at that time. That's what Erev Rav is really referring to. That's what the Zohar is saying. So it wasn't that Moses invited in all these other nationalities that wanted to travel with us. He invited in the sorcerers who were in the process of doing tshuva. They're the ones that panicked. Go ahead.
Because there is also called evening, because there is also a small evening, which is before 9:30. And since there are two kinds of evening, it says a mixed multitude, a great evening, when up also with them.
So this was the description of these magicians and sorcerers and what they were doing. It was more of a description of who they were than what they were, like what they did. That's what this is describing for us. So I just want to say that, because we don't have time to take another paragraph, but I just want to say, to wrap this up, that this is what the children of Israel were up against. This is this what led to the creation of the golden calf. And this section goes on, and it's fascinating exactly how this whole played out. What role the Erev Rav played in creating the golden calf, what role the children of Israel played in creating the golden calf, what role Aaron played. Like, he was trying to buy time to give Moses time to come down. And he also, he saw his role as just trying to keep the people from freaking out. So what's this mean for all of us? Well, listen, we also experience chaos. We also experience lack. We also experience challenges to what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish and the good work that we're doing. And in this realm, we're going to experience challenges, and understand that challenges come from the light. I had this conversation with Michael Berg a couple of weeks ago. When you experience a challenge, your first reaction is to what? Moses is delaying. It's like, what is going on? How is this happening? That's your first reaction. You want your second reaction to be, this is also coming from the light. So as a way to restrict, to not be reactive, to give time for everything to settle in. And so that's the power of what we have this week, is the ability to have a greater perspective on what goes on, to understand it's all coming from the light, to understand that, yes, immortality and soulmate energy and healing and peace in the world and the end to war is all there. It's within our reach. But we don't control the timing of it. The only thing we control is our consciousness. And so this section really is about strengthening our consciousness to deal with the chaos that comes up and seeing beyond that illusion of chaos and understanding that the light is there also. Maria?
So what is it that, I mean, and I hear what what we're listening today, and you started saying, let's pay attention why all this is coming today and why we're talking about all of this. And I know a few minutes ago you mentioned about this negative energy that happens all the time. But I don't know if, I'm sure you have, but lately it's just so much going on out there in this environment that we live in. Day and night, it's just like, I refuse to turn the TV on, literally. I just refuse, because it's just so much killing out there in every area of our community where we live. Any community, north, south, east, west, it doesn't matter anymore. It's no longer downtown, like people downtown or south, everywhere.
Right.
It's just this energy where we live in our society is so heavy, it's so uncertain. It's just, how much more can we pray for our community, for our loved ones? I mean, I walk down the street and I see people, I just send light, and it's just,
That's all that we can, that's all that we can do. Listen, I mean, I hate to use the example that comes to mind is like childbirth. When you go through childbirth, I've never gone through I've only gone through childbirth on the birthing end, not the giving end. It's the idea of all this torment and pain, that goes on to bring a life into this world. This is what we're doing. This is the conflict that exists in our world to bring us to the next level. And that's, that is the peace on earth. And so we're experiencing what we're seeing. 100 years ago, we wouldn't know what was going on in the world. We didn't know. We had to read about it later. Now it's instantaneous. This is how we, as a world, are evolving. And even though we see a lot of negativity out there, because that's what gets focused on, ego, body consciousness gets pulled in the direction of the chaos. It's like instant gratification. We need to pull our consciousness back towards the light, back to positivity, back to seeing beyond the solution. That's through the power of this section, the power of this week, that we are on a march towards peace on earth, immortality, the death of death, and the end of pain and suffering. And the contrast is huge. Huge. So, you know, the one thing we control is our consciousness, and we have to work on that. And understand it's still all coming from the light, even though it's painful, and it is. It's still all coming from the light. Okay. Suzanne, did you have a question? I saw your hand up.
No, but I think you handled, it's all good. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
good.
good. All
I'm
right.
good.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys. Love you
Bye.
all. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you.